Acolyte, Legal Mindset, with a Johnny Somali update. Now, from what I seen or heard, it looks that Johnny Somali, to I don't know whose surprise, is actually worse than we thought. So let's just continue.
Today, we have massive leaks in the Johnny Somali case. This is a summarized version of my stream. It's going to be without any video. So if you want to see the supporting video, you can check out my full stream, which should come out about the same time or a little bit before this summary video comes out. But I wanted to give a condensed version, a speed run for those that needed the quick facts, and a shorter text version. So let's jump right into it. Well, we've got some massive stuff coming today. Where did it come from? Well, we've got a bunch of sources of information. First and foremost, we have information leaked accidentally by Johnny Somali himself. He was streaming from his lawyer's office, and he revealed a lot of information in that, both in things that he said. That's
what a gigantic dumb F you have to be to actually stream even from your effing lawyer's office. Can't you just let it be for 5 effing minutes to actually boost your chances of not going to jail? No, he can't. He can't.
What I actually discount a little bit less, put a lot less weight in that. But things were said in Korean, which were audibly heard. You could clearly hear them in Korean. And because Johnny did not understand Korean, he did not understand that important things were being said, which were clearly picked up on and translated by those over in the Somali conviction team. That is a team working with me to put Johnny Somali, Ramzi Khalid, Ismail behind bars. And also, Johnny has, over the course of this case, revealed several papers that he has shown that have information from the police, from investigators, from prosecutors. And while he can't read Korean, once again, we have people on our team that can do that. So therefore, we took that information, extrapolated it, investigated it, deep dived on it, and got some answers behind what went on here today. A lot of this was a March 28th legal meeting with his quote-unquote paid lawyer in the Eastern District, which we'll get into in a second. We also have leaks by sources close to Hank. Hank is breaking down. You'll hear why. And he is leaking like a sieve. Information is coming out from him and people close to him, which has been corroborated by other anonymous inside sources, people that are, whether they're inside Johnny's community, whether they're people that are in the know regarding the process, that are in the know in the back of the house. There's a lot of folks that are helping on this. Some are very high up, very influential people in Korea that he is pissed off, and they are aiding in this effort to put him behind bars.
I mean, if your own community goes against you. I mean, of course, for F's sake, he himself doesn't really have a real community, how I would call it, that actually support each other. They just want to see him do stuff. And as soon as he stops, they just move on, won't even remember him. He basically just dies.
We have official court records, which I give the greatest weight, because when I see something in the court, we know it is done. And today we're going to talk about a lot of things that we know are done because they are official. They're in the record. As a quick update, this is something that just came out. Johnny Somali's trial date has been moved. It was supposed to happen on April 9th, 2025. That was going to be a plea hearing. That is going to be moved, likely because his defense attorney, his public defender in the Western District, has moved for a delay, has moved to push that back, likely due to the new deepfake charges. So expect that date to be moved. We will announce it on this channel. I will also announce it on my X account once we know the official date to which it is moved. I highly predict that the judge will grant that. And even if they didn't grant that, if they showed up to court on the 9th, they could just say, hey, we want to delay. The lawyer could show up and say, hey, we want to delay, and the judge would likely grant that delay. Korea is fine to let the process drag out. In fact, many of these cases last for years, even up to 2 years in time, which once again is time that Johnny...
Oh, this is something that I despise on the legal system. This is something that I truly despise. Just end it quicker. For F's sake. I never heard in real life of a situation where extra things came out that actually changed the entire thing. Maybe one delay was okay because somebody was too lazy to handle everything in. But normally, in 98% of the cases, it doesn't change anything. And I don't mean the cases where, well, the judge basically, like it was in one of my cases, was full of shit. 2 judges, by the way. So yeah, I had to move it to a upper, how is it, to a higher degree of judges that are like more of those. And then I won instantly. Bah.
He cannot work. He's going without money. He's having to pay for himself, or have Hank sugar daddy him, which may be running dry. And that is absolutely, I think, a good thing that the system of Korea is not paying for Johnny. So
Yes,
let's
good.
first start talking about his lawyer. So we have some information on this quote unquote paid lawyer. He has 2 real lawyers. We're not counting Hank. First is a
Yeah.
public defender in the Western District. That is a free attorney that is provided in the Western District where he has an active case. He also has a paid attorney in the Eastern District. Now, the Eastern District charges, as we're going to see, are largely being merged into the Western District. So this paid lawyer is unregistered in the West. So this paid lawyer is unaware of the exact proceedings and what's going on in the Western District. So he really has no idea about what's going on unless he contacts certain people or does extra effort. And it appears that he is kind of being lazy with his proceedings. Also,
I mean, if you have a little shit like him under you, I'm sure he just takes the money, thinks, okay, I'm not gonna even invest any energy in it or the absolute minimum, cash in, and then just go out.
people that were in the know and some legal professionals and others that analyzed this, as well as people that looked at this lawyer, it appears he's kind of what you might call in the U.S. a strip mall lawyer. He's got a very heavy Korean, heavy specific regional accent. Which is very hard to understand. He also seems to be very inexperienced with criminal procedure because he doesn't understand the concept of merging cases. Now, to be fair, merging cases is very rare. In fact, in the case of Johnny Somali, we don't just have one merged case, we have several. We now have 3 merged cases that are coming in from the Eastern District to the West. Even one,
Okay, if that's okay,
one is
fair enough.
extraordinarily
Fair
rare, but
enough.
now we have multiple coming in and may have even more, as you're going to see quickly. So we also have Hank Yu. Hank Yu is his unofficial lawyer. His real name is Han Jong Yu. He has been touting himself as his legal rep. In fact, we have audio, if you watch my full stream, that has Hank saying, I'm his legal representative. He makes that statement. First of all, he's a non-attorney, he's a non-lawyer. He thinks he is a lawyer because his granddaddy was a prosecutor way back in the day.
Of course.
But indeed, he is not. And indeed, many of his poor translations and failed understanding of the law, or rather contempt for the law, saying that the law is unfair or the law is unjust, complaining about it and thinking that's going to get them off the hook. Well, that's not how things work in Korea, according
Yeah, it only works in the Western world for some, I think, reason. I don't understand why.
to pretty much every legal expert or person with experience in the Korean criminal system has reported to me. So about Hank considers himself the legal rep. Up to date, Hank has been paying for Ramsey for everything, up to and including his one paid lawyer. In fact, it's speculated that that paid lawyer may be a family friend or doing a favor, but he indeed did pay for at least the consultation for that paid lawyer that happened on March the 28th. Now, sources report Hank is at least partially, if not fully, cut off. Now, I don't expect that his family is trying to starve him out. I don't expect that they're trying to get him to not eat or anything else like that. But I do expect that they're seeing this, and we do have reports that they know about what's going on with Ramsey, and they are not happy about it, and they are cutting him off from.
At some point, if somebody's this toxic to you, to your family, to your health, to your finances, you have to cut it off.
Further, deep support of Ramsey. They found out that he is deep in the finances, paying for everything with Ramsey, and they are not happy about that. Perhaps that's because this last week we've been exposing this. We've been putting out information on how Ramsey is being pretty much financed by Hank, and Hank is begging online for money for Ramsey and is even considering streaming himself just to provide funds for Ramsey. Next, we're going to talk about the police and the prosecution. These are huge leaks and information that we didn't have before. We know that Ramsey's case is being handled at the highest level of the police. The Songpa police, which are in the Eastern District, they put the superintendent of Women's and Juvenile Crimes Division on the case. Cases are typically not handled by superintendents. That's like a police chief almost handling a case. Typically, they're handled in Korea by sergeants. Sergeants are gyongsa.
I hope that's bad for him.
That's a mid-level, non-commissioned officer. A gyeonggam is the police superintendent. That is a senior-level commissioned officer. So this means that this is being handled very seriously by the Koreans. This is not something that they are treating like a joke, as you'll see them say repeatedly in very many clips. They laugh it off. They take it as a joke. This is something that's being handled at the very highest level and is indeed quite serious, just based on how the police have treated it. We also have found out that the police department hates Ramsey, especially the Songpa police, but the Mapo police as well. They don't like him. The police don't like him because he doesn't cooperate. He doesn't help out. He doesn't give information, and he's always trying to plead the fifth. Now, while you can exercise your rights, if you're an innocent person and it's minor, you typically cooperate because that's taken into account for your sentencing and punishment.
Yes.
And also for the charges they bring against you. Typically, if you are fully cooperative, they might not bring as many charges against you. But why we see all these charges being added is because Ramsey has been completely uncooperative. So the police have gone forward with pretty much most of what we've been talking about in this channel, which we're going to get to with some of these charges in the Eastern District, because we've now got more charges revealed in the Eastern District and what they are and the facts of them, which we're going to get to in a second. They've concluded investigations on most charges and referred them to the prosecutor. There is one charge, a huge charge, that is coming down the pike potentially, and we're going to talk about that. We also have a very specific term here in Korean law for referring things to the prosecution, and you see this term in many of the documents. This is something that is revealed when he flips over the paper, which actually shows that the police have forwarded these investigations and they're taking them extraordinarily seriously. Beyond that, guys, this is a little chart here. I've shown this chart before, but it's very important to understand this process. Once you have a complaint filed, the police investigate and refer to the prosecutors. Once you refer to the prosecutors, it is very rare for things to be dropped. And once they go to the court and there's an official indictment, you're done. You're sunk. That's when you get that 98 plus conviction rate, which is absolutely doomed. And this is where most of the things we have today are. So we're already on step 4 for most of these charges. Let's get into the prosecutor. The Eastern District prosecutor has been revealed. It is Jung Ar-yang. She is a woman. She is one of the top 10 prosecutors in Korea. She is repeatedly commended as an excellent prosecutor. She has an outstanding record and for multiple years has received awards. So they've given this to one of their most capable prosecutors. Of course, Ramsey is not concerned about her capability or her merit. He's concerned because she's a woman. In fact, that's the first thing that he said when he found out her name. Oh, she's a woman. That's bad, right? He is scared of the fact that she is a woman because many of these crimes are directed towards women. And as we're going to find out, children as well.
I forgot about the children thing. Yeah. Okay, fair enough. I mean, okay.
Ramsey's lawyer tried to meet with this prosecutor to beg her to drop with the deepfake case, to beg her to drop it. And as we're going to see with the deepfake case, the hilarious thing is by the time he met with her, it was already too late.
You know what? This was the smartest thing that he done. I mean, going for an emotional argument or emotional act against somebody else is the best chance they have. It still failed, and it's funny. It just F them. Yes.
charge had already been indicted. They'd already moved on. They've already processed this. So it was too late to even do that meeting. But they were trying to beg her to drop it because they thought she could drop it. But she'd already indicted and it had already been moved over to the Western District. Now, Ramsey's lawyer said it's difficult to deal with them because the law enforcement has a bad feeling about Johnny. So the prosecutors and the police both do not like Johnny due to his belligerence and non-cooperation. And also they mentioned that both the police and the prosecutor are aware of his other actions, such as the actions with the statue. Now, this is an important clarification. He's actually not charged with any crimes related to the statue. None of the crimes are related to him in his disgusting actions regarding the Comfort Woman statue, which once again represents the sexual victims during World War II, the Korean women that were often underage children that were forced into sexual bondage, during the Japanese occupation and during the course of World War II. It's actually not any charges related to that. We don't have any charges related to that. These are all other actions. But because they know about that and is belligerent and he's not cooperating, obviously they're not happy. So let's talk about the first of the charges coming from the Eastern District. That is the deep fake case. And I say deep fakes because we now have confirmed there is more than one, which actually means this is going to come under the harshest statute available for deep fakes, which allows for up to 10.5 years maximum sentence for prison. Once again, there is no minimum sentence, but the maximum here is 10.5, which is the most extreme, which is good. And
I mean, yeah, there is. For F's sake, I always wonder why there is a upper limit on some things. I mean, maybe not on stealing a candy bar. Good, fair enough. But on offing somebody or just ruining them financially, I mean, why is there an upper limit? I don't know.
And I'm going to go through the timeline here. The timeline is the Songpa police on February 18th referred the deepfake case to the prosecutor, which means at that point, it's looking pretty solid. And we had that based on the information that Ramsey flashed across the screen. He flashed across a paper which revealed that this was already sent to the prosecutor. And I called it out at the time and I said, he's screwed on this because this is going to go on to court. If something is sent to the prosecutor, it is highly likely you're going to get an indictment. Well, on March 7th, he leaked that, right? And then on the 25th, the Eastern prosecutor indicted Ramsey. On the 27th, that indictment moved from the East to the West. The West is where his current case is. They are trying to consolidate everything in that Western district because it's already going, it's already pending, and they want to bring everything over to there so they handle it all in one trial rather than breaking it up into multiple trials. So on that day, I knew immediately, and I informed everybody on the 27th. Because of that, Ramsey and Hank were panicking and they were talking about that with their lawyer. And that lawyer had no idea. I actually predicted that on my stream. I said, his lawyer might not even know because the lawyer is not registered in the West. He's only registered in the East. So he actually wasn't accessing the right court records that were in the Western District. So at that meeting, he actually said, oh, you're not indicted for this. Oh, you're not indicted yet. He was. And the hilarious thing was, the lawyer wanted to meet with the Eastern District prosecutor, the outstanding prosecutor Aryang, once again, one of the best prosecutors in all of Korea, literally in the top 10 prosecutors in Korea. And when he met with her, he found out. It is no coincidence that Ramsey went silent shortly after this. He no longer was streaming on Party. He was going dark on Discord, really going quiet because he found out, oh shit, I'm actually indicted on this. And he got complete confirmation of this on April 3rd when an indictment in English was mailed to Hank. Once again, he is staying at Hank's apartment. Hank Hong Jong-yu has been his complete benefactor in Korea, and he was informed of that on April 3rd, so that was confirmed. Once again, Ramsey goes silent around the same time. That's no coincidence at all whatsoever. On the deepfakes, Ramsey asked if he can go to jail for this. The lawyer said it's unlikely since you're American, which actually revealed the inexperience and ignorance of this lawyer. Because as you can see on my main stream, I won't take the time here, but I show an example on the stream. I'm going to show clear example. There was an American that went to jail, that was sentenced to 1 year in jail, prison time, for a single crime. And this was actually predating deepfakes. This was just one cybercrime and an obstruction of business. So remember, Ramsey has at least 2 obstruction of business charges already on the docket, 2 Minor Crimes Act, and a deepfake. So Ramsey has over double the amount of charges. And that person, that defendant, was completely cooperative with the judge in the court. There's also several other examples of Americans being sentenced to time. I don't have enough time to go over all of those in the stream. I'm trying to keep it brief, but there are multiple instances of Americans being sentenced to hard prison time in Korea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years has absolutely happened. Americans are not exempt from that at all, right?
Mhm.
Once again, this
Good.
lawyer is only looking at the limited information in that Eastern District, and frankly doesn't seem to have much experience with these types of crimes at all whatsoever. Beyond that, the prosecutors and the police were cooperated with the other defendants that ended up going to jail, the other Americans. So we were talking about Ramsey, who's been disrespectful in court. He hasn't helped the police. He's been disrespectful to the prosecutors. He hasn't given over any information. They're not going to look very kindly on that when it comes to sentencing. Now, the deepfake charges appear to have multiple victims. So at first we thought there might only be a female victim, one of the streamers in Korea, but actually there's at least one male victim, if not more, likely more. That one victim we're very clear about. He's named specifically in video, which we have, and I play on my stream, which is Youngman. And there's a clear deepfake of him, and that's they talk about that. That's registered. We've got that fully disclosed. But also there's deepfakes of the other Korean streamers, Dalgoon, other streamers as well. They're making out, kissing Ramsey, and that is considered sexual in Korea. That is a sexual deepfake, which carries a higher penalty. There was a long discussion had, and this was leaked out information, on the deepfake law. Hank went off on a rant along with the paid lawyer on how they don't like the law and how they had problems with it. And they were complaining that the law is very broad because it considers audience embarrassment. That is, it considers people seeing that being embarrassed to see that, which certainly when you see that, yeah, you would be embarrassed, particularly since Ramsey said that the female victim was his girlfriend. And certainly it would be very embarrassing for somebody to have information out there that they are the girlfriend of a convicted international criminal. He's convicted in Japan, and somebody who's been arrested on multiple other charges. That would be deeply embarrassing to somebody for this criminal to call you his girlfriend when she clearly wasn't, and it was a complete deepfake. So that is
you know what? I didn't even see it that way, but yes, that's correct. That would be very, very bad. Oh, I mean, here in the Western world, sadly, for a high part, we have a criminal worship, so that wouldn't influence you that bad. But in there, as it should be, by the way, this would be embarrassing. Fair enough.
Absolutely a factor there. Now, they complain about it, but complaining about it is not a defense. A disagreement of the law is not a defense, and while you can try to challenge things up to the Korean Supreme Court, good luck with that. It is almost impossible to happen to get anything overturned. And it is highly unlikely that Johnny Somali would be the one to overturn the deepfake law in Korea. So not looking good for them on that. In the deepfake, when discussing the deepfake in this legal meeting, Ramsey refers to the female victim as the B word. It's on the slide. I don't want to say it. You guys can read it, but we've got clear video. I'm going to play that on my stream. Once again, you want to see that, go tune over there. And that is not good. Referring to a victim as a slur is never okay. There's also no settlement with the female victim. They tried to pretend they settled with the...
By the way, it's never okay to insult someone, except it's for fun. If it's between friends and it's for fun, sure, go at it. I mean, I'm calling my friends way worse than that. Way worse. But no, if you don't know the person, F that. Don't insult them. It brings exactly nothing to the table.
through, it was all taken care of. It was not. And even if there was a settlement, it is not a defense. Ramsey has revealed that his strategy, his entire legal strategy, was to blame and put pressure on the female victim in order to protect himself. This is highly offensive to the prosecution. Now, I'm not going to read all of this, but this just goes into a detail on how settlements are not a manner and mechanism to reduce or eliminate punishment. So even if they did settle with that female victim, it wouldn't happen, right? It would not be something that would be taken care of and considered, especially since he is using it, as is said on the bottom, to falsely reflect on their actions. So it is a aggravating factor. So in fact, the fact that he's trying to force Bong Bong into a settlement is actually an aggravating factor. That means it makes it worse, not better, under Korean law. So we have the next charge. It's one we've all waited for. If you know what this is, you know what this is. Lotte World. Now, Lotte World, we have an obstruction of business. We talked about this back in 2024 on this channel. I was actually, I think, the first person to call out this specific charge and say, this is clear obstruction of business, because he was not only disruptive, yelling, etc. He stopped a ride. Stopping a ride is per se. That means automatic obstruction of business. That is clear obstruction of business.
Yep,
the ride was operating and they had to stop it because of Ramsey. Clear obstruction, case closed. That case is likely already merged into the Western District case. Likely it was merged in March. Now, it could be possible that we have another obstruction as well, and there could be a third there, but I'm guessing the best guess, the educated guess, is that second obstruction is actually Lotte World, which is great. We've been waiting for that. We called that on this channel. And one thing I want to give a thanks to all of you viewers out there is many of you called in, you wrote Lotte World, and it appears this worked. So thank you. I deeply appreciate that. Also, I would appreciate if you hit the like button at this point, because we're at a good midpoint right now. And if
midpoint, yeah, you're over that. But yeah, by the way, viewers or my community, right now, most of my videos that I'm doing are recommendations, acolytes. By the way, Discord link down there. Join if you want. And it's simply because, well, most of the days, I look it up and see, yeah, that's actually a good idea. Of course, I still don't have the time to do everything, but most of those. And some days I'm just like, no, I just want to do something that I want to do. But it's not that often as you might think.
If you like this coverage, hit the like. All right. Next, we have a bombshell. Child sexual harassment. This is no joke. Ramsey Khalid Ismail has been under investigation for child sexual harassment. He played several vile text-to-speech messages aloud while he was in Lotte World. I'm going to read this.
This is one of those crimes where I wish that there wasn't a limit on actually, well, jail time. There doesn't have to be a limit, in my opinion. So, okay.
This statement here. On September 30th, 2024, Johnny created a huge public nuisance at Lotte World, eventually leading to him being kicked out and questioned by security. He's been charged and likely indicted in the Western District for this crime. However, what he did in line for the go-karts brings his crimes into an even darker and more severe territory. While approaching the line with his text-to-speech ready, on full blast, Johnny knowingly said, "For kids, what's this? Oh yeah, let's do it. It's a bunch of little kids, bro." He knowingly, we have this on video. Once again, I'm not going to play on this stream. You can see it on my full stream, not this video on the full stream. He knew there was going to be kids around, and he blasted the text to speech that he knew was going to be nasty. Even if he didn't understand it all in Korean, he knew he was willfully negligent at the very least, which is sufficient under Korean law, going in and hanging out around little kids, repeatedly blasting messages that are vile, too disgusting to even play in this video. And frankly, they were criminal. And this enraged many people, and many people called up about this. And we're glad to see this is taken. This is something they were taking seriously. Now, this falls under the Child Welfare Act. The purpose of the Child Welfare Act is to guarantee the welfare and safety of children so they can be born healthy and grow up happy and safely. I mean, this is common decency. This is common humanity. The basic idea is to protect children. Now, what's prohibited is to engage in a lewd act or committing sexual harassment or sexual abuse against a child that will make him feel sexually ashamed. Playing text-to-speech, talking about having sex, and I can't even say it's having sex with underage people around children and talking about sexual acts around children would absolutely and
the bad part is he came away with it in the Western world for a very long time. I just don't know why he didn't get shafted way sooner. It's just, if there aren't consequences for behavior like this just happens. And I understand free speech, but for F's sake, if you harass somebody else, your free speech just ends. And I mean real harassing, not the freaking effenist harassing. I mean real harassing, things like this. For F's sake.
100% make them feel sexually ashamed. So this would clearly be something he is guilty of. What is the penalty? Imprisonment with labor. Let's catch that out, guys. We got the cabbages there, the cabbage picking. Imprisonment with labor for not more than 10 years or a fine of not exceeding 50 million won. Oof, big oof. Up to 10 years with labor for this if they go forward. So let's give a summary of what we have here in the Eastern District. We've got deepfakes with at least 2 victims, possibly more. That one's been merged into the ongoing Seoul Western Court on March 27th. We have obstruction of business in Lotte World. That was probably merged on March 4th. There's a chance it hasn't been merged yet, but we're the best guess, and we'll find out at the next hearing that we have, whenever that is. We will find out exactly, but that one has likely been merged in. And that's obstruction of business for messing things up at Lotte World. And then child sexual harassment at Lotte World. Now, that is either pending. It's possible they could have dropped it, but it's unlikely it's fully dropped and fully not been considered. It's also possible that it's already merged into the case in the Seoul Western District and is a included crime within the obstruction of business. Because when they merged that in, they could have kind of lumped those two together, and we're going to need to hear the prosecutor explain the procedure there, because that may actually be part of the charges that were brought over in addition to the deep fake. So we're going to find out a little bit more of that definitely at the next hearing about the child sexual harassment. But that's something that we know. We have 100% confirmed that the police were investigating, the prosecutors were on child sexual harassment by Ramzi Khalid Ismail. Next, let's talk the truth about the watch. The watch, we've revealed, was given only because of a restraining order against Korean streamer Jungman. Now, this is a moot point right now, as Jungman is in jail. He participated in a political protest. He got, kind of did some property damage, and he's in jail right now. So that is a moot point.
Fair enough.
Ramzi loves the watch, and he should have given it back. In fact, he should have given it back long ago, but he has failed to do so. Even his lawyer told him, you need to give it back immediately. His strategy is now to maliciously pursue a new restraining order against Dalgun, right, who we saw recently at a protest. So because Johnny decided to show up at the protest, he wants to get a restraining order against Dalgun. Once again, Dalgun is the UDT member who gave Johnny the punch, in order to get the watch back, because he loves that watch so much. He's just in love with it. Now, if the song, I would kind of doubt the Songpa police want to give him that watch back, because after doing all those prank calls, they probably want to keep it. But we'll see what happens with that watch. We've also got some free speech news. Well, first of all, Ramzi and Hank want to sue every streamer involved in covering his case, either for assault or defamation. In fact, they want a warrant issued against Legal Mindset. That's me. But the funny thing is, and we have this in the leaked audio, is that he failed to provide any actionable evidence to his lawyer. So Hank's lawyer has no proof that at all there's anything actionable or anything they could do. And by the way, procedurally, they could do nothing to me, because most of my coverage has been from the Kingdom of Thailand, which is far outside the purviews of the law of the Republic of South Korea. Ramzi is actively trying to brigade YouTube accounts maliciously. We have proof of that, for example, here in the Somali Discord, where they are trying to brigade Johnny So Somali on X. This is literally Johnny Somali as Somali S. Thompson saying we got to take this ninja down off X. And then Trell also saying we need to mass report this ninja. That is no good. That is actually a violation of the TOS of pretty much every platform you're on. So, I mean, you should be booted off pretty much every platform you're on for trying to engage in brigading and false mass reporting. And of course, these are from people that consider themselves the champions of free speech. Now, we have an update on the travel ban. As to the travel ban, Ramsey was begging to know from his lawyer when he could go home. And we actually got the full text. We leaked pretty much everything from the suspension of departure order. Now, that travel ban was leaked, which says that Ramsey is under investigation for deep fakes, violating the Child Welfare Act, once again, child sexual harassment, and threatening and insulting, defamation, as well as the National Security Act. We actually talked about that way back in the day, all the North Korean propaganda. That was part of the travel ban. So all of these things together form the basis. And until he defends himself from all of this, he can't go home. In fact, Ramsey was told he can only go home when the prosecution is cooperative. Now, understand how crazy that is. It's not the prosecution's job to be cooperative at all. It's Ramsey's job. So what this means is, while Ramsey is being a belligerent a-hole, he is going to stay in there essentially indefinitely, or at least until he gets sentenced and all these cases get processed out. So there's no way he's going home anytime soon, and definitely no way until he serves the time that he is issued at the end of this. We also have a brand new update today on YouTube ban evasion. Now, this video will be available in my full video on YouTube. I'll also put it up on my X account so you guys can see that as well. But Ramsey has admitted to his method of ban evasion on YouTube. He's actually created a new account, and he has said that he is evading this ban by having Hank Yu, Han Jong Yu, register as the owner of his channel. Specifically, he went out and said that I made Hank the owner so I can go around the ban. That's not how it works. The person of Ramsey Khalid Ismail is banned from streaming on YouTube. Therefore, that is a form of ban evasion, and it is really a violation of the platform's terms of service, which is absolutely nuts. So that's what we have today for the updates. Big bombshells. Hope you guys like the summary. Trying to keep it in a condensed version for you guys.
This entire thing just goes out. Johnny is a freaking menace, and the legal system is still fucking around with him for this long of a time. This is actually quite annoying, to be honest. I mean, the dude is so clearly at fault. He is so effing... Like, is there anyone who thinks that he could be innocent in any way, except for people who support him, who just want to see the disaster continuing? Of course, they will say, hey, no, he's innocent. But every other normal human being probably just wants him being shafted. I'm gonna be honest, this is a clear as day situation. I hope that he gets shafted soon. Not because, I mean, from the entertainment value, yes, it's more entertaining if he, or you will get more entertainment out of it if he continues to play the clown. But as soon as he's out, somebody else will replace him. That's just the word. And the sooner it starts, the sooner we can actually go against annoying streamers like him. But as it is, acolytes, good night.